So another common question I often get is, what if I just can't keep the heels down all the way flat? And usually the main reason for this is you are missing flexion in your ankle. To check if you have ankle flexion, you can put your toes against the wall and then try to drive your knees as far forward as you can without lifting the heel. And then eventually bring your toes further away from the wall, about 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, and try to drive your knee even forward so it touches the wall. And if you're finding that it's almost impossible for your knee to touch the wall without that heel coming off the ground, it just means that you're missing ankle flexion. I would highly suggest trying out some of the drills at the end of this course in the mobility section to help you achieve better ankle depth over time. Now, achieving better mobility does take quite a bit of time to do. Our bodies have so many years of exposure to being in certain positions, and imagine the number of years that you've spent with your body not having ankle flexion. So it will take weeks, sometimes even months, to really see significant progress and change in developing more mobility. But if you consider the long-term benefits of getting better mobility, it doesn't matter whether it takes weeks or months. It matters that you're still making progress and you're working towards that so you can sustainably have better mobility into your later years. So if you are missing a little bit of ankle flexion, we can actually use a heel using small plates to help get you better range of motion in the bottom of your squat. Now, this is just a temporary fix right now. It will help you maintain that even foot pressure a little bit better against the floor, but over time, as you develop better ankle mobility, you do want to remove the plates, or you can actually switch over to a lifting shoe to help you get down deeper in the squat. So you're gonna grab a couple of small plates. These can be 2.5 or 5 pound change plates, and you're going to place them on the ground and place your heels on the plates. So if you were coming out of the rack with a back squat, you're going to place your heels on the plates, and these heels act like lifters so that when you get to the bottom of the squat, you're not needing as much flexion through your ankle. That elevated heel reduces the angle that your ankle needs to fold in order to get to your squat. And you might find it might be easier to stay a little bit more upright in your squat if you tended to go forward, or if the weight starts shifting into the ball of foot a lot more. You'll find that it's easier to press down through the heel this way and get a lot more out of your back squats. You can sometimes try a different stance. Often if our stance is really narrow, you might find that your heels will lift off the ground. So just sometimes taking a slightly wider stance, not so wide where your knees start to come inside your feet, but just wide enough that you can find more stability against the ground. And again, this is really dependent on your personal anatomy. Everyone's anatomy is going to be a little bit different. Some people can naturally just have a more narrower squat stance, and you might find that a wider stance is going to be more beneficial for you in order to have that pressure against the ground. Turning the toes out may also help with that too. Often if our feet are forward, it's really hard to keep the hips torquing outward. So if you flare the toes out at 11 and 1, and sometimes even 10 and 2 o'clock can be really helpful. You might find that keeping that flat foot pressure will be easier to manage.